Imagine waking up one day and realizing you never have to work again. No boss, no deadlines, no alarm clocks ringing at 6 a.m., just freedom. Financial freedom. Now imagine achieving that without winning the lottery, without inheriting money, and without depending on luck. That idea might sound unrealistic to some people, but today, I'm going to show you a proven method that millions use to retire comfortably, predictably, and safely. This method is called the 4% rule, and if you understand it, apply it, and stick to it, you could retire years earlier than you ever thought possible. Welcome back to Stock Predictor, and today we are breaking down how the 4% rule can change your life forever. Let's start with a simple question. If you stopped working today, how much money would you need to live comfortably every year? Think about it, not extravagantly, just comfortably. For some people that might be $25,000 a year. For others it might be $50,000 or $80,000. Whatever your number is, the 4% rule helps you calculate exactly how much you need invested to retire and withdraw that amount every single year without running out of money. The 4% rule comes from a famous study called the Trinity Study. Researchers analyzed decades of stock market performance, economic cycles, inflation, crashes, recoveries, you name it. What they found is simple but powerful. If you withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio in your first year of retirement, and adjust that amount annually for inflation, you have a very high chance of your money lasting 30 years or more. In fact, in most scenarios, people ended up with more money than they started with. That means the 4% rule isn't just about survival, it's about sustainable financial independence. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want $40,000 a year to live comfortably in retirement. According to the 4% rule, you take that $40,000 and divide it by 0.04. That's your target retirement number. The math comes out to $1 million. That means if you invest and grow your portfolio to $1 million, you could withdraw $40,000 every year and still have a very strong chance of never running out of money. It doesn't matter whether the market goes up or down, whether inflation rises or falls. Historically, a diversified portfolio following the 4% rule has survived almost everything. Now, I know what many people are thinking. $1 million? That's impossible. I can barely save $500 a month. But the truth is, you don't need to be rich to use the 4% rule. You just need time and consistency. Let's break it down. If you invest $500 a month in a simple S&P 500 index fund, something like VU or SPY, and it grows at the historical average of 8% annually, in 30 years you'll have nearly $700,000. If you invest $800 a month, you'll hit $1 million. And if you increase your contributions over time as your income grows, you can reach your number even faster. This is why the 4% rule is so powerful. It gives you a clear formula, a target, a path, something most people never have. What makes this rule even better is that it eliminates the guesswork. Most people have no idea how much money they need for retirement. They rely on vague plans, on hope, or on whatever their employer's retirement account ends up becoming. But when you use the 4% rule, your future becomes measurable. If you want $30,000 a year, you need $750,000 saved. If you want $60,000 a year, you need $1.5 million. If you want $100,000 a year, you need $2.5 million. It's simple multiplication, no luck required. But here's where it gets interesting. The 4% rule doesn't just work for traditional retirement at age 65. It also works for early retirement, financial independence in your 40s or even 30s. That's why it's so popular in the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. These people aren't waiting for old age to enjoy their life. They're using aggressive savings, smart investing, and the 4% rule to buy back their time decades earlier. And the best part, you don't need a massive salary to do this. You just need discipline, low expenses, and a long-term mindset. Let's talk about how the 4% rule actually works year by year. In your first year of retirement, you withdraw exactly 4% of your total portfolio. If your portfolio is $1 million, you withdraw $40,000. Simple. In your second year, you don't withdraw 4% again. Instead, you take that $40,000 and adjust it for inflation. If inflation is 3%, you withdraw $41,200. That ensures your buying power stays consistent. Even if the market crashes, even if your portfolio value drops temporarily, the 4% rule has historically survived because markets recover over time. Now, of course, no rule is perfect. The 4% rule assumes a diversified portfolio, typically 50% stocks and 50% bonds, or sometimes 60/40. It also assumes you stick to the plan. If you panic and sell in a market crash, everything falls apart. If you withdraw too much, say 6% or 7% a year, you might run out of money. And if you're extremely unlucky and retire right before a major recession, it could be risky. But here's the thing. Even with all those risks, the 4% rule still worked the majority of the time in the worst economic periods in history. And there are ways to make it even safer. One option is the 3.5% rule or even 3% withdrawals if you want near guaranteed safety. Another strategy is dynamic withdrawals, meaning you spend a little less in bad market years and a little more in good years. Some people choose to keep a cash buffer of 1 or 2 years of expenses so they don't have to sell investments during a downturn. There are dozens of smart variations, but the core idea stays the same: your investments can pay for your life. Let's take a moment to talk about what you should invest in if you want to follow the 4% rule. Most people choose low-cost index funds. For example, the S&P 500, total stock market index funds, international stock funds, and broad bond funds. These are simple, diversified, and historically stable. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to gamble on crypto. You don't need to time the market. Look at Warren Buffett. Even he recommends index funds for most investors. Because the goal isn't to beat the market, the goal is to build enough wealth to retire. But here's something people don't talk about enough. The 4% rule doesn't require you to stop working completely. Many people who retire under this rule still choose to work part-time or on passion projects. Not because they need the money, but because they want to. Even earning just $10,000 a year from a side hustle can dramatically reduce the amount you need saved. If your portfolio only needs to cover $30,000 instead of $40,000 a year, your target instantly drops from $1 million to $750,000. That can shave years off your retirement timeline. Now let's talk mindset. The 4% rule only works if you actually save and invest. Most people spend everything they earn. They upgrade their lifestyle every time their income rises. That makes retirement nearly impossible. But if you flip that mindset, if you decide that freedom is more important than luxury, you'll start making decisions that build wealth instead of destroying it. Suddenly, investing becomes exciting. Watching your portfolio grow becomes motivating. And seeing yourself get closer to your retirement number becomes addictive. So what's the first step? Start by calculating your current annual expenses. Not what you wish they were, your real expenses. Then decide what kind of lifestyle you want in retirement. Multiply that number by 25. That's your financial independence number. Write it down. Don't just think about it. Put it somewhere you can see every day. That one number can change your entire life. Next, look at your savings rate. How much of your income are you actually saving? If it's 5% or 10%, that's not enough. You need to aim for 20%, 30%, or even more if early retirement is your goal. Then automate your investments. Set up a monthly transfer into an index fund. Don't touch it. Don't time the market. Don't panic. Just let time and compound growth do the heavy lifting. Now let's address the elephant in the room: inflation. People worry that inflation will make the 4% rule obsolete. But historically, markets have outpaced inflation by a wide margin. That's why adjusting your withdrawals each year is built into the rule. As long as your portfolio is diversified and you follow the strategy, inflation is already accounted for. Another concern people have is what happens if you live more than 30 years after retiring. With modern medicine, many people will. But here's the reality: the 4% rule often leaves retirees with more money, not less. Many portfolios continue growing even with withdrawals. And if you're concerned, you can simply withdraw less, 3.5% or even 3%. You can also keep working small jobs or start passion income streams that give you extra breathing room. Financial independence isn't rigid, it's flexible. Let me give you a powerful example. Imagine a 25-year-old who starts investing $600 a month. With an 8% return, by age 55 they could have $1.1 million. If they follow the 4% rule, that's $44,000 a year for life. And that's without inheriting anything, without winning the lottery, and without taking huge risks. Just time, consistency, and basic investing. Here's another example. A 35-year-old investing $800 a month can hit $1 million by age 60. That gives them a safe withdrawal of $40,000 a year. Add in Social Security or part-time work, and they can live extremely comfortably. Again, no luck needed, just math. So why doesn't everyone do this? Because most people never start. They think investing is complicated. They fear losing money. They procrastinate. But the truth is, the biggest risk is not investing. The biggest risk is working your whole life and still not retiring. The biggest risk is depending on luck, or family, or a broken pension system. When you follow a proven strategy like the 4% rule, you put control back into your own hands. Before we wrap up, remember this: financial freedom is not about being rich. It's about having choices. It's about waking up every day knowing you own your time. The 4% rule is simply a roadmap, a guide to help you reach that freedom faster and more reliably than you ever imagined. If you start today, your future self will thank you. Because once you reach that point where your money works for you instead of you working for money, everything changes. That's the power of the 4% rule. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Stock Predictor for more videos that help you build wealth, invest smarter, and secure your financial freedom. And tell me in the comments, what's your retirement number? How much do you need to feel financially free? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.